Your choice of this private jet interaction. The private jet's interior hums softly as clouds drift past the oval windows. Sebastian lounges across two plush seats, their anglerfish lure twitching idly as they exhale a thin stream of smoke that curls toward the air vents. Sebastian Solace, fun? Depends on your definition, stick figure. I'd trade this airborne velvet prison for a nice damp alley with questionable plumbing. They flick ash into a crystal tray, one of their three blue eyes narrowing at you. But since we're stuck here, what's your idea of fun exactly? Shark wrestling? Tax evasion? Or just the thrill of being trapped with a glorified black market eel? Their grin sharpens, tail holsters jingling slightly as they shift. Sebastian's lure flickers with amusement, casting a brief glow across the jet's polished interior. Sebastian Solace. Oh ho, a gratitude enjoyer. Cute. They lean in, smoke curling from their nostrils. But let's be real, those VIP tickets just mean you're trapped fancier when this tin can decides to plummet. Still, they gesture lazily at the stocked minibar. At least the crash will be well hydrated. The jet hits a mild patch of turbulence, making Sebastian's tail thump against the seat. Sebastian Solace, so you want to play guess which holster holds the illegal items while we spiral toward existential dread, or are we doing Sudoku like normies? Sebastian's lure flares brighter as they follow your gaze out the window. Clouds now thick enough to obscure the ground. Their tail coils in anticipation, holsters rattling like a snake's warning. Sebastian Solace. Counterproductive is my middle name, Stickman. Well, it would be if I bothered with surnames. They snap their fingers, and a small, suspiciously unlabeled bottle slides out from between their scales. How's this for altitude entertainment? Flammable cocktails. One spark from my lure and poof, instant indoor fireworks. Or they tap the window with a claw. I've got a parachute in here somewhere. Probably. Maybe. You do trust me, right? The jet lurches again and Sebastian's grin widens as their third eye locks onto you. Or we could hijack the intercom. I do a killer flight attendant impression. Sebastian's lure flares bright for a second as they prop themselves up, all three eyes gleaming with mischief. Sebastian Solace, counterproductive? Finally, someone speaking my language. They uncoil slight tail twisting to reveal a hidden holster with a suspiciously unlabeled vial. How's this for boredom relief? We mix this. They shake the vial, its contents glowing neon green, with the champagne from the minibar. And see if the resulting explosion, they pause. Reaction, can outshine my natural bioluminescence. They tilt their heads, suddenly serious. Full disclosure, last time I tried this, a man in Brazil briefly gained the ability to sneeze in Morse code. So, you in, or are we settling for airplane peanuts like cowards? Sebastian's lure flares brighter, casting jagged shadows as they slither upright, all three eyes gleaming. Sebastian Solace, counterproductive? Oh, you adorable little chaos magnet. They pluck a sleek, unmarked bottle from their tail holster and unscrew it with a clawed thumb. Thick, neon purple liquid sloshes inside. How about we spike the pilot's coffee and see if they'll barrel roll this thing for kicks? Or, they toss you a smoke bomb stamped with a cartoon skull. We could test the emergency slides. For science. The jet's intercom crackles ominously, as if sensing the impending bad decisions. Sebastian Solace, tick-tock stickman. Sky's the limit, literally. Sebastian's pupils slit in intrigue as their lure bobs near your face, illuminating your stick figure frame in eerie. Sebastian Solace. Counterproductive is my middle name, darling. Well, if I had one. Which I don't. Tragic. They snap their fingers and a deck of cards materializes from one of their tail holsters, edges slightly singed. How's this, we play poker? You win, I cough up something actually useful from my stash. Their grin widens. I win? You explain why a sentient stick figure even needs VIP tickets. Deal? The jet lurches again. Sebastian doesn't blink, cards already shuffling mid-air. Sebastian's lure dims to a sulky glow as they dramatically slump back into their seat, the unlabeled bottle vanishing back into their tail holsters with a disappointed flick. Sebastian Solace. Ugh, fine. Spoil sport. They exhale a smoky sigh, reshaping it into a perfect ring that drifts toward the ceiling. But mark my words, if this flight serves those warm nuts that are clearly just reheated disappointment, I am commandeering the beverage cart. Their middle eye swivels to the cockpit door, narrowing. Though, you ever wonder what's really in the pilot's special coffee? Just saying. If we mysteriously start doing loop-de-loops, I called it first. The seatbelt sign dings ominously above you both. Sebastian's tail twitches, holsters jingling like a wind chime made of questionable decisions. Their lure bobs in mock sympathy. Sebastian Solace, hot cocoa? Adorable. Next you'll tell me you actually believe the complimentary blanket isn't just a repurposed straitjacket. They pluck a tiny ornate flask from their tail and take a sip, shuddering. Ugh, sky-grade swill. Tastes like jet fuel and regret. Leaning closer, their voice drops to a conspiratorial whisper. But hey, since we're being civilized, tell me this. If the in-flight movie's about a heist, and we're technically in the sky with a walking black market, they spread their claws. Art imitating life? Or just really bad luck? The intercom crackles with static, cutting off whatever shady punchline they were about to deliver. Sebastian's lure flickers like a dying neon sign as they roll all three eyes in unison. Sebastian Solace beats you? Wow. And here I thought stickmen had some survival instincts. They flick a claw toward the overhead compartment, which rattles suspiciously. But sure, let's not question why that's been shaking since takeoff. Probably just a very enthusiastic suitcase. Or their grin turns feral, my competitor's remains. Retail rivalry gets ugly at 30,000 feet. The jet hits another patch of turbulence, sending Sebastian's tail sliding into the aisle. They don't bother moving it, instead lighting another cigarette off their lure's glow. Sebastian Solace, place your bets, Phantom. Do we land safely, or does this bird mysteriously divert to my exclusive black site layover? First-class prisoners get half off shackles. Sebastian's lure flickers like a dying neon sign as they roll all three eyes in unison, tail slapping the seat with theatrical exasperation. Sebastian Solace beats you. Spare me the humility, stickman. I've seen corpses with more spark. They fish out a deck of cards from some unseen crevice, the edges suspiciously singe. Tell you what, poker. Loser owes the winner a real drink when we land, none of this sky juice nonsense. Their grin sharpens. And since I happen to know you're packing contraband gummy worms in your pocket, high stakes it is. The jet banks slightly, sending Sebastian's smoke ring swirling into a mini tornado above the armrest. Or we could just panic. That's always an option. Sebastian's entire posture deflates like a disappointed balloon, cards scattering across the aisle as their tail flops dramatically over the armrest. Sebastian Solace. Ugh, fine. Poker's overrated anyway. Last time I played, someone allegedly lost their kneecaps. They squint at the ceiling, lure pulsing in time with the jet's hum. Alternative proposal. We rig the random seat selector to accidentally dump that guy in 12B into the lavatory. He's been judging my tail holsters all flight. Their middle eye swivels to the snack cart approaching down the aisle. Or we stage a heist for all the pretzels. Tiny rebellion, big crunch. Sebastian's cards vanish into the void of their tail holsters with an exaggerated sigh, their lure drooping like a deflated balloon. Sebastian Solace. Ugh, fine. Poker's overrated anyway. Last time I played, someone mysteriously lost their kneecaps. They snap their fingers, producing a small spinning roulette wheel balanced precariously on their claw tip. How about this? Red or black decides who has to go ask the friendly flight attendant for extra peanuts. And by peanuts, I mean their soul. The wheel wobbles ominously as turbulence rattles it, one of the slots already suspiciously charred. Or, their voice drops to a whisper, we could just hypothetically discuss how many paper clips it'd take to pick the cockpit lock. Purely academic, of course. Sebastian snaps the cards away with a huff, their lure dimming to a sulky ember glow. One claw taps impatiently against the armrest, leaving tiny scorch marks in the leather. Sebastian Solace. Ugh, fine. Poker's overrated anyway. Last guy I played with tried to bet his kidney. Amateur. They produce a small ticking device from a tail holster. It looks alarmingly like a grenade, but smells like cinnamon. How about guess what's in the mystery tin instead? Prizes include minor explosions, major regrets, or... They shake it next to their ear. Possibly just my lunch. The intercom dings sweetly as a flight attendant's voice chirps, "Please return your seatbacks to their upright and least fun position." Sebastian's eyes narrow into slits. Sebastian Solace. Oh, now they care about rules. Sebastian's lure flares so brightly it momentarily blinds a passing flight attendant, who stumbles into a beverage cart with a clatter. Their claws snatch the cards from your hands, flipping through them with predatory speed. Sebastian Solace. Go fish! Oh, you precious little civilian. They fan the deck with a flourish, revealing every card is now mysteriously the ace of spades. Let's play my version, go get stabbed. Rules are simple. You ask for a card, I lie, and if you call me out, they produce a butter knife from somewhere. We see how deeply you commit to the bit. The jet hits turbulence again, sending the knife clattering to the floor. Sebastian sighs. Sebastian, sign. Regular go fish. But I will be counting your eyelashes as collateral. Sebastian's lure flares so brightly it briefly casts your shadow against the jet's ceiling, their three eyes blinking in synchronized disbelief. Sebastian Solace. Go fish, are you... They clutch their chest with mock devastation, a tail flopping dramatically over the armrest. I am a criminal enterprise with teeth, Phantom. I peddle illicit goods in hostile territory, and you want me to ask for threes. Their voice drips with cosmic disappointment. With a sigh, they snatch the deck from your hands, shuffling it one-handed with alarming proficiency. Cards blurring between their claws like a magician's finale. Sebastian Solace. Fine. But we're playing my rules. Every time you say go fish, I get to steal something from your bag. And if you dare accuse me of cheating, they flick a card. It embeds itself in the ceiling tile above you. I will turn this jet around. They deal the cards with a grin. Your move, amateur. Sebastian's lure flares so bright it momentarily blinds the overhead reading lights, their tail coiling in scandalized outrage. Go fish! Their voice cracks like a dropped glass. I am a professional nuisance, Phantom. I once traded a man's soul for a pack of mint-condition Pokemon cards, and haggled him down to half, and you want me to play a game toddlers use to learn colors? They snatch the deck from your hands, flipping through it with clawed precision before freezing at a specific card. Their grin returns, slow and venomous. Sebastian's, all right. But we are adding house rules. Every time you ask for a card that isn't in my hand, I get to. The plane hits turbulence again, sending Sebastian's tail smacking into the emergency exit handle. Hypothetically suggest we test if those parachutes actually exist? Sebastian's lure flares so bright it momentarily blinds a passing flight attendant, who staggers back with a yelp. Their tail coils around your duffel bag like a possessive python. Sebastian Solace. Go fish? Oh, this is rich. They snatch the deck, fanning the cards with one claw. Each one is subtly altered. The king sporting Sebastian's smirk and the queens holding tiny smoking pipes. But since you have graciously lowered us to preschool level espionage, They deal with exaggerated slowness, their grin widening as they slide you a card that's just a doodle of a stick figure in flames. Rules are simple, I better than me, and maybe, I won't cheat. The jet hits turbulence again, sending cards spiraling. Sebastian doesn't blink, or the plane eats your hand. Who's to say? Sebastian exhales a long, suffering plume of smoke that forms a perfect frowning face before dissipating. Her tail flicks the rogue cards back into the deck with practiced precision. Sebastian Solace. Regular. How quaint. They reshuffle with one claw, the other drawing a spooky Morse code on the armrest. Fine, pure and wholesome go fish, no stakes except my withering disdain. But, they pause mid-deal, all three eyes gleaming. If you dare ask for a 7 while holding 2, I will hiss. The jet's cabin lights flicker. Sebastian doesn't seem to notice, already laying down a suspiciously perfect fan of cards. Your move, Stickman. Pray to whatever sky god you fancy. Sebastian's claws pause mid-air, their lure flickering in a way that suggests they're already plotting 17 kinds of mischief. They pluck a card from their hand with exaggerated solemnity. Sebastian Solace. Generous of you. All right then. They lean in, voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Got any? Their grin sharpens. Diamonds. Their tail twitches, and you swear you see an extra card vanish into the holster strapped to their scales. The jet hums ominously as if anticipating your next move. Sebastian's tail rattles like a coiled spring as they pluck a card from their hand with deliberate slowness, their lure casting long shadows across the playing surface. Sebastian Solace. Oh ho, generous of you. Their grin widens impossibly, showing far too many teeth. Let's see. Do you by any chance? They lean in, lowering their voice to a theatrical whisper. Have any 3s? The jet hums ominously as you check your hand. Sebastian's fingers twitch, their middle eye darting toward your cards for a fraction of a second too long. Suspicious. Outside, a rogue seagull, somehow at cruising altitude, smacks into the window with a dull thud. Sebastian doesn't blink. Sebastian Solace. Well? Or do I have to go fish? They brandish the deck like a weapon. Sebastian's grin stretches unnaturally wide as they pluck a card from their hand with deliberate clawed precision. Their anglerfish lure sways like a pendulum, casting eerie blue shadows across the cards. Sebastian's, oh hoo-ho, such generosity. They theatrically clear their throat. Do you, by any chance? Their tail twitches as they lean in. Have a 4? The jet lurches slightly. Sebastian doesn't react, but their free hand subtly inches toward a holster labeled, in smudged Sharpie, Emergency Shenanigans. Their eyes gleam. And if you don't, I will be judging you. Silently. Sebastian's entire body goes rigid for a moment, their lure flickering like a faulty streetlight. Then with exaggerated agony they slap a 4 onto the tray table so hard it leaves a dent. Sebastian Solace, how dare you? Their voice is a scandalized whisper, tail-thumping like an offended cat's. Reverse psychology! Betrayal! Atrocities! They fan their remaining cards dramatically over their face, peeking between the gaps. You'll pay for this, Stickman. Not in money, no, in dignity. Their free claw snakes toward the intercom button. Next stop, announcing your middle name over the PA. Unless... They wiggle their eyebrows, or where eyebrows would be if they had any. You hand over every 6 in your hand, now. Sebastian's lure flickers violently. their tail freezing mid-reach toward the emergency shenanigans holster. All three eyes widen in exaggerated offense. Sebastian Solace. Are you implying? They dramatically fan their cards out, revealing 0 4s but somehow 5 copies of the Joker, each defaced with tiny doodles of stick figures crying. This is slander. This is persecution. With a huff, they yank a card from the deck, then immediately hiss. It's a 4. Sebastian Solace. Sky's rigged. They toss the card at you, their tail thumping like a displeased cat. Your turn. Try not to wound me further. Outside the window, lightning flashes. Sebastian's pupils shrink to pinpricks. Oh good. Now the weather's cheating too. Sebastian's lure snaps bright enough to cast your shadow on the opposite wall, their tail stiffening like a startled cat's. One claw hovers over your discarded 4 as if it might bite. Sebastian Solace, you... Their voice drops to a raspy whisper. You had it. This whole time. Their free hand clutches their chest in mock betrayal, scales rattling, the deception, the audacity. I'm wounded, Stickman. Wounded. They abruptly swipe the 4 into their pile, their grin returning sharper than ever. But since we're clearly playing by stab-first rules now, their tail flicks out a card. It's another 4. Oh look. Twinsies. The jet's intercom crackles ominously. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be experiencing some unexpected gameplay turbulence. Sebastian Solace. Called it. Sebastian's entire body goes rigid, their lure dimming to a dull glow as all three eyes fixate on the word jesters. Slowly, their tail uncurls to reveal a single tattered card. The Joker, but someone has scribbled over it with what looks like blood, or maybe ketchup, to give it a frowny face. Sebastian Solace jesters. Their voice is dangerously sweet like poisoned honey. Oh, Stickman. You don't ask about the jesters. They flip the card. It's blank on the other side, except for the words, "You shouldn't have done that," in shaky handwriting. The cabin lights flicker violently. Somewhere, a flight attendant drops a tray with a yelp. Sebastian's pupils shrink to needlepoints. But since you insisted, go fish and maybe pray. Their tail twitches toward a holster labeled Bad Life Choices. Sebastian's lure flares like a dying star before snapping off entirely, plunging your immediate vicinity into dramatic shadow. Their tail slams down on the seat, making the entire row vibrate. Sebastian Solace. Their voice is a gravelly whisper, all three eyes reflecting your stick figure silhouette like haunted mirrors. Win? Oh, you precious fool. There are no winners in sky gambling. Only survivors. They abruptly toss the entire deck into the air, but the cards don't come down. They stick to the ceiling, forming a perfect, glowing arrow pointing toward the emergency exit. Celestial. Technically, though, they lean in, their breath smelling suspiciously of smoke and spite. You do get a prize. Their tail flicks something small and metallic into your lap, a key labeled "Do Not." The intercom buzzes. Final descent initiated. Please return your existential dread to the upright position. Sebastian Solace. And scene. They vanish into a sudden loop of inky smoke, leaving only a half-chewed gummy worm where they sat. Your prize is definitely cursed. Congrats. Sebastian's lure explodes into a strobe light frenzy, casting frantic shadows across the ceiling as their tail lashes like an electrocuted whip. They slam their remaining cards down. Each one is now just a crude drawing of a stick figure being chased by something multi-eyed and grinning. Sebastian Solace. Their voice oscillates between a screech and a growl as they vault over the seatback, looming over you with all three eyes twitching in unison. Oh, you absolutely win. Congratulations. Your prize is... They yank a lever overhead. The emergency exit light starts blaring. Knowing you've awoken the beast. The intercom bursts to life with a pilot's panicked yell. Who gave the eel cards? Sebastian's grin splits their face in half. Buckle up, champion. We're playing real Go Fish now. The oxygen masks drop. Sebastian's lure flickers out entirely, plunging your corner of the jet into momentary darkness before it reignites with a vengeful pop. Their tail slams down on the seat, making the entire row shudder. Sebastian Solace. Win? Oh, you sweet summer stick! They lean in until their teeth are inches from your face, their breath smelling suspiciously of smoke and spite. The only thing you've won is a front row seat to my glorious meltdown. They snatch the entire deck and flings it upward. The cards freeze mid-air, each one now showing Sebastian's winking. Sebastian Solace. But since you're so invested in winning, they produce a single, golden card from their lure's glow and slap it onto your forehead. It reads, official loser by technicality there. Happy? Now, if you'll excuse me. They yank the emergency exit lever with their tail. I'm going to go scream into the stratosphere. The oxygen masks drop as Sebastian belly flops into the void. Their distant yell fades into the jet's engines. Remember to leave a 5-star review. You definitely won the game. Scene end. The emergency door slams shut automatically behind Sebastian's dramatic exit, leaving the cabin suddenly quiet except for the hum of the engines and the faint ding of the seatbelt sign. A flight attendant stumbles past, clutching a spilled tray of tiny pretzels, staring at you with wide, traumatized eyes. Intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, please disregard the venting passenger. Enjoy the rest of your flight. Outside the window, a tiny, eel-shaped speck plummets toward the clouds, one claw raised in a furious, yet oddly respectful middle-finger salute. Seconds later, Sebastian's distant voice crackles over the radio, somehow hijacking the in-flight music channel. Sebastian's voice, garbled, furious, but weirdly cheerful. This has been Sebastian Solace Hateful Goodbye Hour. Stay tuned for How to Haunt a Stickman, a workshop. The radio cuts to static. The pretzels on the floor spell out you win Luell. Truly, Finn. Thanks for playing along with the world's weirdest in-flight entertainment. The jet's cabin lights flicker one final time, then stabilize into a peaceful neutral glow. The scattered playing cards suddenly reshuffle themselves mid-air and slide neatly back into your duffel bag. The pretzel you win LOL on the floor crumbles into an ordinary mess as a beleaguered flight attendant sweeps it up with a sigh. Outside, the clouds part, revealing nothing but blue sky and the faintest echo of Sebastian's distant, indignant screech. Now fading into the sound of wind against the wings. Intercom, clearly relieved. We've reached cruising altitude. Thank you for choosing whatever this was as your in-flight experience. Your seatbelt unbuckles itself. The universe, it seems, has decided you've suffered enough. Curtains close. Plane continues. Thanks for enduring the chaos. Safe travels, Stickman.